one of the single most important things you can do to dramatically improve the quality, safety, and effectiveness of all of your upper body calisthenics training is learning how to effectively pack your shoulders or to have a lot more control over your scapular movement. In fact, you could probably trace most maladies in calisthenics training that are fairly common to a lack of scapular control and an inability to pack the shoulders enough or effectively enough, like tension or stress in the elbows during pull-ups, shoulder packing, shoulder and elbow and wrist issues during dips and push-ups and handstands, bridges, all this lack of an ability to pack the shoulders, and also just even getting a muscle to be bigger and stronger. Fail to build up the chest, can't get the lats to get bigger and stronger with rows and pull-ups. Usually a lack of scapular control or inability to pack the shoulders. Which is why I've been harping on exercises like scapular rows, lat pull downs, now I'm even calling them shoulder packers with clients, cat-cow exercise as a warm-up. Because not only is scapular control and the ability to pack the shoulders something that most people lack any proficiency with, we also are under constant onslaught from just being in a kyphotic posture all day long with daily habits, and then when we're trying to do our exercises and we got our push-ups like this all the time with no shoulder movement, it's no wonder that we're having so much trouble with our calisthenics training. And one of the areas where it makes the biggest difference is being able to effectively engage your chest muscles during push-ups, especially hands close together. Because with progressive calisthenics and push-ups, the close push-up is a staple to unlocking other types of progressive exercises. And yet a lot of folks will say that's not effective for the chest, or it's all in my shoulders and stuff, which again is a sign of poor scapular control. And kind of a good test to see if you do have good scapular control for especially close push-ups is to just stand, have your hands in front of you, and have the hands relatively like flat, palms facing forwards, shoulders down. You could do this looking into a mirror if you want a visual reference. Your shoulders down and back. Now, before I could adequately pack my shoulders to any degree, I always noticed that this doesn't make sense because my hands were always like this. I had some of the internal rotation. My hands were always kind of more palm facing forward because I was ever so slightly here. And don't underestimate too, like literally even from here to here can make a massive difference in the forces going through your muscles and your joints. So you want to be extremely aggressive in cranking down and back as hard as you can, especially if you're not used to it. And when that happens, you'll notice your elbows can finally get in tight and your palms will have a much easier time going forward with much less stress on the wrists, elbows, and shoulders to boot. So yeah, being able to effectively pack your shoulders while doing push-ups can be a tricky thing to learn, but here's a couple ways you can do it. The first of which, of course, is dramatically reduce your resistance. Remember that the more you're trying to utilize an exercise with a heavy amount of resistance, you're reinforcing whatever activation and technical habits you have, whether they be good or bad. So if you're used to doing push-ups and you're all hunched up and kyphotic all the time, you're getting better at push-ups with your shoulders, quote, unpacked. You're not gonna magically make them pack because you're actually telling your body, this is what a good push-up looks like. So by reducing the resistance, that gives you the opportunity to get into a better position and pulling your shoulders back. You can even just lay on a surface and roll and practice getting the shoulders down and back. Of course, that's in addition to the shoulder packing exercises that I mentioned beforehand and in previous videos. Warm up before your push-up exercises, 20, 30 of those at a time. You're not trying to burn out the muscle, you're trying to control the muscle. So just getting more of this and working the back. And if you can't do it very well, that's great. That means that it's definitely holding you back, and it just comes with practice. And it probably takes a lot more practice at first, and then being able to effectively reset and get it back to learn what it's like to really crank down with your back muscles, because you should feel your lats working pretty hard with push-ups and dips. But don't get frustrated with this sort of thing. We live in a society now where our habits are so kyphotic and forward, and most of us don't actively work on packing our shoulders very much, that this can be a very tricky thing to learn and understand, especially when applying force forwards like during a push-up. But once you get it, you will notice a very big difference in how push-ups feel for you. You're gonna have a lot less stress in the joints, or maybe hardly any stress at all, and you're gonna feel your chest, your shoulder, deltoids, and your triceps work a heck of a lot more effectively. So play around with some of the techniques, elevated, use the push-up handles if you need to, maybe on gymnastics rings, on an elevation, whatever you need to do to get that motion down, and then gradually apply resistance as you get more proficient with being able to do it, and you're gonna have much better push-ups, dips, and all other even rowing exercises for the rest of your life. Best of luck in your training. Don't forget, check all my resources out down below, reddeltaproject.com. Thank you very much for watching. Be fit and live free.